Hello, everybody. Today I just wanted to, and you can tell from the title, today I just wanted to review a video that surprised me recently, and you can see by the screen right now that it's peak. It's absolute cinema because this rap battle that's I watched very recently, and you might be wondering, how did I end up watching rap battles and also reacting to it when my content isn't really based around that most of the time? Um, well, first of all, I would have had I was looking up, funnily enough, William Afton rap battle. Like this is I like because I'm really a big fan of the uh FNAF series. I wouldn't say fandoms. I'm really a fandom person because fandoms are all kind of well, I'll get into that later on, I hope. If I remember everything, because I'm going off of improv with the script as well. Not even a script, obviously, it's just improv. Um, um, yeah. Although I try to be like a perfectionist and I have OCD, a little bit of OCD, so I try to be perfectionist and things. Like a little tinsy bincy error try it pisses me off, um, and I try to not to make those. But anyway, in context of this video, as you'll see if you haven't seen it already, I'm gonna watch through it like just full. I already kind of I think I might watch through it fully, and then I will just talk about certain lines that I think relate to the thing. But um, what I was trying to say before is that I have been, talk about some other things on the tabs for a moment. Um, I have been trying, like, I looked up William Afton rap battle. I ended up on William Afton versus Mr. Krabs. That's a different channel from this guy. Um, Incredibly talented creator, by the way. That's why the title also um, means that. Um, and I was just like baffled because before, back in the day, right, I would have just like maybe 10 years ago, 15 years ago, I would have looked at like ERB videos, which is epic rap battles. Um, and back in the day when those existed, everything else was kind of like cringy. Like, I'm not even gonna lie. Like, not the ERB stuff. The ERB stuff is fire. Some of the ERB stuff today is still fire, but um, like I find like some of the modern stuff isn't as good as the older stuff, like the Michael Jackson versus Elvis Presley when they just went ham on each other, or like the Michael Jordan versus yeah that one as well. Um, those ones are pretty fire. Um, but the thing is, um, I have not and then that's what really caused this thing to happen in the first place. Like I just went from the William Afton thing out of just pure curiosity, and then I started, and then I was like, okay, that was really nice because yeah, Mr. Krabs straight up Mr. Krabs straight up roasted the fuck out of William Afton in that one. I'm not even lying. And then I just started seeing more, of course, in the YouTube recommendations, and I ended up on this creator here, EddieFRB, who has currently 272K subscribers. I think that's what I'm reading there. I think that's just that one, yeah. I hope it is. The screen's a bit kind of small, but anyway, um, yeah. And I do want to go into the rap battle eventually, but I still I want to yap about a few other things first before this. Um, Recently, just like I'm doing right now, he made a video on OBS. You can see like this even a similar like thing. His is a bit cleaner though for sure. He made a video just capturing his shit on OBS, talking about how YouTube's AI demonetized his channels. You can see even that title there. And basically it goes through like um, he assumes that it's the shorts because if you were to go to his channel, for example, if which I can do right now, I'll open a new tab or use the other one, but never mind. And then we go to shorts. He's talking like he uses this. Like I said, this is it's more of a thing than the reaction. You can probably skip ahead to go to the actual analysis of the rap battle because I want to talk about this first because it's a little bit of drama, right? So what's interesting is that he's been doing this as a form of advertisement, which is totally fine. It's actually very unfair because what I've been noticing from his channel is that he's very, very thorough in making and adhering to YouTube's algorithm and YouTube's like content awareness or whatever the fuck it is. I don't know how to call it like that. And um like he's basically like on the tips of his toes trying to keep on YouTube's guidelines. So for example, in some of the videos, if you click on them, like even some of the older ones, you'll see that he specifically puts this video is not made for kids, always having warnings at the start of the video to make sure that he keeps in with the YouTube guidelines, right? And the thing is, even though his videos are right up my alley, um, what's bothering me and bothering him as well is that he's been on the guidelines, been fine with everything, and it's very interesting and very funny in a bad sense that he ended up in trouble to make this video complaining about it, and then he's has had help with it, like for example, with ERB. Like all the creators are kind of like reaching out in the same thing. I'm not sure if I can find the ERB comment. Where is it? Right here. Sorry, I missed it. Right here. Um, so they reached out for him as well. This is one of the, like I said, the basically like the foundational foundational cornerstones to these types of videos. Like I think almost everybody might have not really copied off of ERB, but took their blueprint and started to make rap battle videos in a similar light. So what's happening now is that I think he said either June or July it's gonna get remedied, allegedly. But that's a very long way because right now his like his paycheck per se, or like I should say the monetization is kind of on freeze. He was explaining, and that is sort of keeping him from making videos because of course if he can't really make money off of it, then it might be hard to produce because it takes a lot of production teams, basically organizing a team for each project and going from there. So you completely understand where he's coming from. And he recently made a, so this was like 8 days ago. He recently made a post, I guess 6 days ago. So this is earlier. I mean, later, sorry. This is later down the line where he says, basically, you can read through here. It's a bit long. I don't want to keep my video a bit long, but it will be probably a long because I'm gonna have to yap a lot about things. Um, like I said, I may like you may have to just skip through quite a bit of this if you want to get right to the my reaction to this. It wasn't really made for the reaction. This video wasn't really made for the reaction. It was made for uh, everything that's in the video is made for everything. In a sense, I wasn't really focusing just on the reaction. Um, it was more so for to explain these other things as well. So basically, I hope he gets through with these things because, like I'm gonna explain in like very shortly, he is a very creative person, very creative individual, um, and he surprised me in actually many ways. All right, so now that that's out of the way, which I hope he gets through with it because he seems like a genuine guy. And a lot of the content he has here, for example, like I've watched a fair majority of these, as you can see, like the red bars on the YouTube, the ones I found interesting, and a lot of them have like that like creative spunk to them, like they're very like some are definitely better than others for sure, but each one of them have like his own compared to the person who made the um Springtrap versus Mr. Krabs, right? The person who made that one, I like the content. I like that one. That one is definitely their peak best. I feel like this creator's own peak best right now is the Pomni versus Jevil, which I'm about to review. That's just my opinion. Um, but I find like his videos are, and I'll explain that more in like, especially with the Pomni versus Jevil, it's very, very like like cinematic level quality. Like it's something that you feel like, oh my god, I'm watching this for fucking free. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's something that I feel like it's a privilege to watch, which is very rare for me to say because usually I find content very shy. Like things I do not find things that appealing. Like it takes a lot, whether it's gaming or entertainment or music or anything really to really get me to like something. So the fact that he managed to um, do these things with a team, yes, but I'm gonna explain a little bit more on that as we get into the video closer to that time. He seems to be a furry, just like myself. So I mean, we claimed a bright star here, but yeah, he's like I'm not sure on that, so don't quote me on that. But his mascot, as you can tell, like from the profile picture and the banner and all these things, like it does give off the vibe. Obviously, like I have a furry profile picture as well, and it's very aptly suited. His name is Miser, and very aptly suited for this video because he is meant to be sort of like a jester or like a clown. If you look on my Deviant art and you look for like the full art of him, like the blue one is just for the background, right? So the one that I'm using right now is just for the background. And the thing of him having he has like these golden bells around his neck, right? Around his mane, right? And it's like five of them, so it's supposed to be like a five pointed star essentially. And what I like about it is that it is like what I like about this in the comparison to this video is that it's like clowny. It gives off the clown vibe. Um, and yeah, I like Miser's design. When I was designing Miser, I had all of these things in mind. Um, and um, I have to do a story with him. I have a lot of content like writing, art and music to do in the future, um, which will take time. But um, basically, what I'm connecting with from Miser too is that well, I have to also put in the detail because I don't have a full body of him yet, or like a yeah, I haven't commissioned or drawn a full body for him yet. Um, so when I get to that, basically the only details that are missing, because there's just a headshot, and there's like I said, it's a blue version of Miser, which you're seeing like my profile pictures and stuff, and there's a black, that the black is actually the original one, like. That's the one that I associate with the most. The blue is just there because I wanted to do a little background flare with blue background for aesthetic reasons. And actually, funnily enough, if you look, if you were to like go back a little bit and like look at the blues, I think it's a visual thing, but the blues start to look like black, at least from my vision, which is very, very good, like almost 2020 vision, or basically 2020 vision, actually. So when I do get the full body from eventually, what basically, but before that, you just like have details. If I do the story for him, it will basically describe his tails, which is the only thing that's missing from his design, as you can see, like the headshot, and I guess the body too. But you can kind of guess the body from anything. The tails, however, his two tails. There's one on the left, which is like a white, like they're built like snakes, right? But they're not actually snakes. Like they don't have any autonomy, like in that sense. Um, but there's like one that's a white tail. Um, I guess they can you can call it considered like little long cotton trails, but they're not really cotton trails. Sort of like just like long fur, but like not really that long either. It's kind of hard to describe. I'll describe it better in the story, I promise. But um, like he has one of these on the left, which is white, and then one of these on the right, which is black, and they can like twist or like they he has full control of them basically. And on top of that, he also has um, his power is basically just like Jevil, anything. It's kind of hard to describe. Like it has a yin yang dynamic. Like he has certain control over specific things, right? But what's interesting about him is that, and this is like, it doesn't make him broken because he still needs to practice with certain attributes to do this, but he does basically have the power to like manifest anything, which is something I'll have to talk about more in the future, definitely in a story or something. Basically, as you can see, there's everybody who is related to the video here, everybody who has been credited regarding the video, and of course, you have it's Pomni versus Jevil. So Pomni is a character from TADC, and TADC I have a bit of familiarity with. I have familiarity with both of these characters, but more with Pomni surprisingly. I have finished Undertale when I was like just way back, like maybe like 10, 15 years, maybe 10 years ago, honestly. Um, I'm not sure. Like it's actually isn't that long, but probably 10 years ago. Let's give or take, right? So I did finish Undertale. I did start Deltarune, but I don't think I finished it. And that's a funny thing because in this rap battle they have like a little thing where they like saying like Deltarune kind of fell off. Like this his rap battles are like I said cinematic masterpieces. Like they are very very detailed. Like it's a lot for me to even like try to put into words how good this guy is at having a presentation. Like I have to put all my energy into trying to describe how good his stuff is. Like there's probably like only like five handfuls of people and maybe not five. Let's like a barrel of handfuls of people. That sounds a bit grotesque and gruesome, but just think about it. There's probably only like that few people in the world that can make, including myself, I would say, because if you look at my DeviantArt, for example, not to shout myself out or anything, but if you look at it and you see like certain poems that I write, the Amos Trill is one of them that I really, really like. I think you have to be mature to look at it though, but that's a really nice poem that I like. I made it specifically for it was a spin-off of I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream. I kind of made a spin-off of it, like in a sense. Um, Sort of like a adaptation or like a tribute to it. So if you're interested in seeing like how verbose I can be, which kind of like again, all these things take energy and time. You can look at that, for example, or check about anything else on the DeviantArt for me um, regarding literature or like basically anything worded. Um, but yeah, this guy, Eddie FRB, he has depths. Like, bro has actual depth. Like, and I know it sounds like I'm glazing very, very hard, which I am, but I'm glazing for a very specific reason. You would probably not hear me glaze much people or entities as much as I am with this guy. Um, he is like corporate entities or anything like that. Although it's just like he's just like a sole creator. Like he's just somebody who has he's a sole creator who has a team. It's not like he's like ERB, which is owned by I think Disney. Like he's literally just this guy. He's literally just a guy. And what is interesting to me is that well, I'm sure he has his methods, but what I would like to mention, and I would try to, if I forget anything I've had to mention, like I did write a few notes down for this video, but I didn't like, like do a whole script or anything. What is interesting to me, if I forget anything, I'll just include it maybe at the end of the video or something, or in between, I don't know, do some editing magic. What is interesting to me I know he might have his methods, but he has, you would see like almost in every one of his videos, and I haven't investigated the guy yet or anything. I've just been watching his videos. I don't like sometimes the mystery for these things. Like if I looked at like certain like his social medias or whatever, it would kind of spoil things, I think. But this guy, this guy, like, he has fucking Spotify apparently. He's fucking this, fucking that. People are asking literally in the comments, right? To get well, I know the beat is produced by some other people, but everybody here has been creative for sure. The thing is, um, this people are asking literally just they want the beat for this specific battle because they found it so mesmerizing. Basically, like the comments are full of just these amazing supports for this specific creator. Um, just So it's not like I'm glazing. Like this is art meant to be glazed, basically. Like it's some that which is why I started with the cinema meme. Like it's just absolutely peak. And um, what I was trying to say before is that I'm not sure how he handles his methods of writing and well, I understand directing, but writing and also knowing the lore between the characters. Like I'm not sure if he gets assistance with lore at times because a lot of these rap battles you have to have um, the utmost context for each of these characters. You can't just go in and you can probably do that, but it wouldn't be good. You can't just go in and be like, okay, I know a little bit about these characters and I'm gonna do a rap out with them. You can, but like I said, it wouldn't be that good. You have to know like your utmost shit because this one was just slaughter. Like this one just got personal at some time. Um, and like I said, I did used to find these videos kind of cringe. But surprisingly, even as an adult, like I used to find them cringe as a child, but even as an adult now, like that's only because the quality of the older ones in old YouTube back then compared to ERB was just pretty poor. Like they had ones like with fucking Tobuscus, with fucking maybe Jacksepticeye. Like I don't like it had um what's that guy's name? Sky Does Minecraft? I think he had one with him too. Like those ones were just not not really as good in presentation, but once you get the presentation, like you can just compete directly with ERB. Like once you get the presentation down like this guy has and anybody else who has very good presentation with them, they become less cringe and like I said, more like works of art. Um, so yeah, I'm not sure how he writes this specifically, like if he gets help with certain things to know the lore, because there's a lot, like I said in these, if I go to his videos tab, there's a lot of them that he's written. And I'm like, did you how did you get the lore for all of these characters? Like, do you just know all of these characters that much? Or, like, how did that work? I understand the writing point of view. Like, you could be an extremely good writer. Um, but yeah, another thing. So you have the cast here. It's just two because it's just two characters, right? There's the one I clicked earlier, Garbage Gothic is Pomni. And then there's apparently him for Jevil. And that's what surprised that was what made me like almost definitely want to do this video because if you listen to his Jevil voice in thing, it's like it doesn't sound like his voice in the video where he's complaining about YouTube. like this guy has to be like one of the most talented creators on the planet because he can voice act and he doesn't sound like he's using like a modifier or anything either. Apparently he has music because I haven't even checked this out. I might check it out after this, but again, this is all pretty recent for me, so I haven't really checked that out. Um, what else could this guy do? like, can he fucking draw as well? Like, can he? What could he do, bro? Like, how many things could this guy do? He even arranged the thing. He arranged it. And in music, an arrangement is basically when you take. It's when you like basically take either like a source material and you sort of like um, in the name it says kind of sort of says it, but you kind of rearrange it. Um, for example, I did one on SoundCloud of Beethoven Moonlight Sonata back in the day. That's like a good like 4 or 5 years from now, maybe. And um, that was when I was yeah, that was a while back. And so you're basically taking the original source material and modifying it in a particular way. So I'd imagine maybe he arranged the beats, like put it in a particular way to get the final product, basically. But and that's just my assumption, because there's a lot of different components to this. There's the beats, the arrangement, and mixed and mastered. Um, but yeah, let me now get into besides the credits and glazing this guy apparently, the furry guy. let me go into Pomni versus Jevil. So Pomni for me as a character. Um, well, for me, I I've been watching TADC since the beginning. Because I've been watching TADC from the beginning, I have also been sort of tied to the fandom, but not really. Like I try to stay away from most fandoms. There's very good reason for that. I'm gonna explain this again. I might not. I might, like you said, you really have to skip for this in this reaction if you really want to get um my. And it's not even like a reaction like it's not blind clearly because I watched it, but it's just a reaction and analysis to the video. Um, not blind as I said. Um, so I started with TADC um, on Conception. Like I watched that basically the same as Has Been and same as Hell of a Boss. Um, so I would have watched like episode one or like whatever it was called, either as a pilot or whatever. And I started off with it, and what happened was that this is why I sort of stay away from fandoms, um, because of the people in them. are usually very, very odd. And I'm not saying that just primarily about the TADC fandom. I'm saying that in general. Like, I'm pretty sure the Undertale or Deltarune fandom would have their weird people as well. Same as any fandom. Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh! Basically, all of them have their quirky people, I should say. Um, but I did have some memories regarding the TADC fandom in particular. Um, so, for example, like I used to, well, I still do play on occasion Wizard 101, which is like a game basically from my childhood that a lot of people grew up with and then still stuck with because a lot of the fundamentals of the game, which is very rare from a game actually, because a lot of the times a game that's in development for that long and maintained for that long, um, a lot of the times they would just change up a lot of the things, piss off the old people of the fan base, and they might leave. But Wiz, as for now, but I am pretty sure all things all things will change over time, but which might be bad change, and that's the bad thing. But Wiz has kept up in how it's been. And what's interesting about that is that, um, like I said, it invites for Wiz the adults that grew up with it. Well, they're adults now. They were kids before, just like myself. They grew up with it and then they eventually stuck with it. Even though it's still considered quote unquote a kids game, but it really isn't because a lot of the user base you would find is the older kids now adults, like myself. Um, and that's like I said, it's very rare for a game to stick around like that without pissing off with some updates, um, because that's just how the gaming industry is lately. Unfortunate, but that's another topic in itself. So I'll try to stay away from that. But basically, what I'm trying to connect to with the Wiz thing is that there were people on Wiz who were TADC people. I met one. I was playing through Zibalba, and it was like the final thing. So you're just playing through. I think it wasn't really like thankfully. Thankfully, it was not me doing it as a story. It was doing it as a just as a farming. So anybody who plays Wiz or anybody who plays games, I guess, would understand what I mean by that. Uh, if not, just I don't know, ask somebody in the comments or something. But either way, and like I said, a lot of yap. But either way, when I it's story time. When I had that happen, the person there was very odd. Like they were clearly autistic. Like they could not get any fucking social cues because clearly they were just going on and on about Pomni, right? And some like in a sort of like a philosophical sense, but like a really dumb philosophical sense, like a very ranty sort of like blah 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 this that the other. And you could clearly tell that this person was autistic or just not in the right mind. And there are a lot of people like that on Wizard 101. I have no idea why this Wizard 101 invites those kinds of people. Maybe I do, or maybe I don't. But I'm not going to say specifically my thoughts on that right now. Um, but yes, Wizard 101, I've had a lot of encounters with people that are of sane mind and with people that are so like I've other people who were with me in like parties and stuff for the game, we have seen for ourselves the mental instability found in that game. But yeah, so this person, right? They I'm not laughing at them or anything. But basically just laughing at how bizarre the situation is for that game sometimes. I'll come with another story very shortly. But this one person who, like I said, is purely autistic, they they did not get any social cues at all. That we did not care. We did not care about, like, it was, I think it was me, like my character, another person, and them. But we did not care about. They were just going on and on and on. And some of the people, fandoms are like this. They just go on and on about something they're just obsessed about, and not even in like the productive sense, like in the sense of like, bro, what the fuck are you saying? And it's so bizarre. Like it's maddening. Like they were just like paragraphs paragraphs of Pomni, 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 this, that, the other. And it was maddening. And like me, yeah, that was like maybe TADC episode 3, like at that point in time. And I knew TADC stuff, so I kind of indulged in them a little bit. Maybe I shouldn't have. Maybe I should have just stayed quiet and let them ramble on by themselves for the entire time. But yeah, they were just going on and on, and um, it kind of became like a philosophical argument. And um, even then, they sort of started to agree with me on some of the points I was making, which was surprised me, to be honest, because usually people, when they're arguing about something, they don't usually concede or like start to agree with the other side. Like they're usually very ignorant about that, so they usually just stay on their side and they never really consider the other side at all. But they sort of started to consider my what I was trying to say. I don't remember what the fucking argument was about. I think it was just something very deep about Pomni's character that we were talking about, along that line of the episode 3 like plot line. But yeah, that was one experience with the TADC thing on in Wiz, talking in text chat. And the other thing, which is not related to TADC, is when somebody was like, they just wanted to kiss my character. Like, they messaged me on DMs and they were like, hey, whatever, blah, 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 my character's name. And they were like, kiss me, or something like that. And I was like, what the fuck? I was like, what is actually happening in this game? And I had to block them, obviously. Because I was just like, it was so out of, I did not even know this person. Like I said, there's a lot of mentally ill people on Wiz, and I could give so many examples about that, but that could be a separate topic in and of itself. There's so many weird stories and stuff I can tell you within gaming, or with stuff I can tell you about different people. Um, but I, it's not par on topic. It's not part of the topic for this video. So this video is already gonna be so fucking long that I have to like again you have to fucking skip to the fucking Pomni Jevil part because I had to talk about so much of this and that's why I had to call it a YAP analysis. Um anyway, on to Jevil now. Another thing to note is unstructured and um improv, like I said, as this video is. Uh Before I get into the devil stuff, his um his view count for this, for example, is like surprisingly low. Like you'd see a lot of his things where it's like and I've been watching his like I've just been able to see like because I have a plugin installed that tells you how many views you're getting. Like for example, you can see right here this one with the demonetization. It says 89 views per hour. So that's like a rate. It feels like again, I feel very bad for this guy. Um like he's based like I said, he's been on his tippity toes with YouTube and somehow that's how just how karma works. It just like for some reason that's how just how life works. Like I can't explain it enough. Like for some even though he's been so careful to skirt around YouTube, YouTube still fucked him over. Like it's not even funny. It's just genuinely depressing. Um when you look at a lot of his videos, they do have a lot of view count for sure. I feel like they're so good they should be in the millions by now, but some of them are like this one. This one says 1.7 but million views. But the thing is, you'd also see, I'm not sure if this is recent or not, he's not getting the algorithm to boost his stuff as much. For example, if I look at because for example, if I look at other people's content, um, and I just see, I'm not gonna do it right now, but if I look at other people's content and I look towards the same views per hour thing, right? I'm gonna see a lot more than what I'm seeing on his channel right now. So it's just surprising to me because I feel like maybe with this demonetization thing, YouTube's algorithm might have also sort of blacklisted some of this. And this is just a sort of like a little bit of a tangent. I am not certain if that's the case, but I just find it interesting when I was there's something I also wanted to note that I just remembered that his thing like this one has 19 views per hour. That's very look at the numbers. It's very strange. This one has 5. Like I feel like while his channel got frozen in this AI demonetization thing, I feel like it might have also messed with his views. And that's something that could be addressed as well, and I hope it recovers back for him. But right, back to Jevil, Mr. Jevil. Um, I have, as I said, played Deltarune Chapter 1. Um, I can't remember if I played against Jevil. I really can't. I'll be honest with you. It's been too long. But I know for sure I played Undertale 10 years ago. I beat it out. Asgore is like a really, really good boss. Like, genuinely, you can feel the tension between the character and Asgore because I don't think Asgore is a type that wants to really fight either. He's just somebody who has to do um, what needs to be done. He's sort of like that character. So when you're fighting against a person, it's the same with Persona 5's Maruki. I have to do a video on Maruki one of these days. I swear to God. Persona 5 Maruki is like one of this is another tangent, but just a short tangent. He is one of the best characters written, and I agree fully. I agree fully with Maruki's philosophy to the point where I didn't want to side with the Phantom Thieves on that. I did not want to. But if you try to side with Maruki, the game just basically ends prematurely. So you can't really do that and not fight him. That's the sad part. I'll talk a bit more about Undertale and also, I guess, TADC when I'm reacting to it and going through it line by line, which again will make the video even longer. So as I said, it's a long video. But the last things, like I said, I went through with Toby Fox. Just let me just wrap this up, this part. Last things I went through with regards to Toby Fox would have been again Undertale, Deltarune Chapter 1. I'm not even sure the state of Deltarune at this point because I haven't gone back to it. Maybe I should. Um, but yeah, I played Undertale on PC. Um, like I said, beat it. Um, and I think I did the regular route. I don't think I really care to do a specific story route if you're concerned about that as an answer. Like, in case I forget to talk about that, there it is. And um, yeah, I just played True Undertale on PC. And if you want to like see some other games I've played, Chapter One would have been on PC as well. I think Chapter One is also on Switch, but I think I would have only checked that out like maybe a little bit. But I haven't really. I played more than Chapter One on the PC when it came out, I believe. The other thing I've seen related to Toby Fox, or rather heard, is when he did that one Sword and Shield song. He did a composition for Pokemon actually, Sword and Shield. Um, it was in one specific like basically like battle arena. I can't remember exactly what the area was called, but like um, basically one of those things. He did the track for that, and it was pretty catchy. Like there's a lot of creative people on Earth for sure, but like I don't really know much about Toby Fox is what I mean. Like um just like in the sense of Scott Cawthon, they're like kind of elusive figures for me. Like I haven't really, as a fan or whatever, I haven't really gotten into a lot of their work as much as I might have for other people, where I could say, well, I know all about this creator, what they do, what they eat, how they sleep. Like I don't really know much about him, and there's a lot of elusive figures like that in the entertainment industry. It's very surprising that yeah, for these kind of like for gaming as a medium, it's kind of surprising. And just like I guess like you can think about it in terms of like some mangakas too. They're just very very elusive with regards to the information about them. Like they try to keep private lives, which I understand because they're basically like celebrities. So it kind of makes sense that if they have the option to keep a private life, they might want to. Compared to like having people harass them about, oh, give me an autograph. Like fucking hell, that must get annoying as hell. Like no matter what, even if you're like, okay, at first you're like, okay, this is very cool. I'm signing autographs, and then like day 700, not even 700, day fucking thousand and something. You're like, oh my fucking god, can these people leave me alone? So I can understand why they would want to keep private lives, okay? I could have done this video a few hours back, and I think I would have sounded like a little bit more depressed. I decided to try to do this video like just record it early so that I can kind of get it out of the way because I just had it planned. But I I could have sounded like a bit more low key. I'm probably sounding a little bit high key right now, like I usually kind of sort of do in these videos sometimes. Um, but I really could have had another mood for this video, and it would have been probably a lot shorter and a lot less energetic, I should say. But sounding, um, but either way, I think we're all clear. Like deep breath in, deep breath out, like to start the reaction. So if you skip towards this, congratulations. But if you've listened to all the app and then made it this far, let's just get right into it, and then we can always talk about anything else after. So let's put it in theater mode and begin. Yeah, let's go. I'm not gonna say too much on my initial thing. And I like this. I like this little intro. Yes, it's really nice. I'm just. It's gonna be more analysis on the second watch, which is gonna be afterwards. Right off the bat, he just does things very cinematic. Like it feels like the characters themselves are actually interacting.
Jevil! Draw! Let's play a game that you know well. Here accountant, won't you join me for a number in a cell?
It's so creative. I can't wait to analyze it. I can't wait to analyze this. Bang. A lot of people think Jevil cooked her, by the way.
Oh geez, that's really not why I came. I'm sorry, but I've already forgotten your name. Wait, where are we?
I think it's a lot closer.
Brought here by Caine? I suppose it's for the best. You make Kaufma look sane. And you look dressed, I would guess, for a long snooze. From the slippers and the nightcap to the honk shoes. You think all your pantomime and chipped in the paradigm? You aren't even part of your creator's grand design. It was Kano time. Never dealt with your disruption.
This is cool ass editing, bro. I swear. This is like one of the coolest parts ever, I swear to God.
Not some weird hypnosis? Maybe if it's go fish. I don't know.
Again, it's the presentation. The presentation is like godlike for characters. They like,
Hello?
yeah.
Jevil, what is this? What's going on?
I feel like a lot of people might consider it over the top, but no, it's not, bro. It's like peak. You have to understand why it's peak. Her catchphrase. I love that part. This part too. That's a little break in there. It's so good. He directs this like a fucking masterpiece, bro. This part's really good. That's my favorite line. That is my favorite line. And this is why I think it's very, very close. Because Pomni ripped his ass. Then he smiles there, see? Brother, this has to be one of the best free videos on fucking YouTube I have ever seen in my entire life. I swear to God. I swear to fucking God, bro. This has to be one of the best fan-made videos, especially. Because he's not the original creator for either of these characters. He puts in the credits the original creators. So it's like Goose and Toby. Like it's like it's madness. It's absolutely madness, bro. Like I know it sounds like I'm glazing. It sounds like I'm glazing too hard, like this guy's just glazing. But I'm really not. Like and when every time I rewatch it, I just remember how fucking peak this is. And it may be a little bit of bias because, like I said, I already have a little clownish background. My persona is a clown. Well, one of my persona right now, as in the one I'm using in the profile picture right now, is a clown. I have multiple, but anyway, yeah, this one, the golden bells on Jevil's cap, by the way, they sort of the same ones you can see in the thumbnail. They sort of look Um, they do look similar to my personas, bells, that I mentioned earlier. Um, but anyway, yeah, the golden look is just something that relates to clowns or jesters. Um, those bells. This is a little mid yap section before I go into this dissecting almost every, if not every line. Because, like I said, it this is a battle where I feel like I wish it was two characters that I like. I know Pomni. I watched the entire TADC. I'm up to date with the latest episode, and I'm waiting for the ending actually, which is I can't remember when it's about to release, but it's gonna be like a few months from now, I think. Um, but yeah, I may be wrong on that. I can't remember, but I think they did show the release date at the end of the latest episode. Um, but yeah, I have familiarity with Pomni, and anybody in TADC, but for Jevil, I have a little bit less, but I can understand him because once you understand Undertale's lore, and a little bit of Deltarunes, you can kind of understand where a lot of these things are coming from in Deltarune. But a lot of the things that, like I said, the lore, when you get into the lore um, with the lines that you're writing for each of these characters, the lore becomes very over the top. Like the lore becomes something that you're there's there's depth within depth and there's nuance within nuance. So when you're writing these things, it's not like lines where that's the thing where you can tell like from good rap battles like these like how they're presented if it's even if it's characters or if it's like ERB zone is like more of a historical sort of sense and that except that that's the blueprint for all of these basically because ERB is basically the one that came first became popular and then everybody else followed suit in their own way. When I'm thinking about it, bro, like, let me just lower it a little bit for the actual, like, when I break down everything. Um, when I think about it, like, for TADC, for example, um, there's a lot of interesting teams with TADC, which I like. And again, I don't. I have more on the TADC side of knowing things than the Jevil side, but I wouldn't say I'm a expert on both of them, right? I would never say that. I am very error prone as a human, and I definitely will have certain things where I'm like, maybe I'm like, don't take my word verbatim. Like, do not take everything I say as truth. Obviously, make your own educated things like nothing I might say a few objective things but a lot of it might be subjective because a lot of these things are also up to interpretation. Sometimes these things they are designed like you can look at like fucking I don't know like maybe genius.com or something for all of these lines and figure out what they're saying from that, but again this is all just my interpretation, so when I'm breaking this down, it's just from what I'm interpreting from each of the characters, what I know. It's not something that you should take. Um, you should just take it at surface level. You should not go too far with it and say, "Well, oh, I said this, so I'm right." Like, don't do that. Don't put me in that. Like, I'm just a person, bro. At the end of the day, I'm just a person. I just have my opinions. You can do with it as you like, but just with the lore that I know, which isn't much for these characters, unfortunately. Like I'm not that lore heavy with them. There are some characters that I would be more lore heavy with, but um, Pokemon would be one of them for sure. um, but there's gonna be other things. Pokemon will be one of them. Souls will be one of them. Yu-Gi-Oh will be one of them. There's probably a lot of other things with Dragon Ball. Those kinds of things I would definitely have the lore for more. Um, but I still know some of the lore for these characters. So let's get into the actual depth of it, and that'll be the end of the video actually. When that happens, yeah, that'll be the end. Okay, so for the final part of this analysis, or YAP analysis, I like to call it, because it took me so long to get to this point, etc. I'm gonna talk a lot. The thing is that I have a lot of other things to do, so I gotta get this out of the way for sure. A lot of other life things to worry about. Um, all right, so here we and a lot of creative projects too, to be quite honest. Here we go with this cute little intro of him and his like beaver persona or whatever, like his beaver persona. I think it's a beaver. I could be wrong on that, but like it looks like a beaver to me. I had to lower the volume. I'm not sure if it's like too low now. I hope not, because I was like, I had to react to this, right? Okay, so starting off, this is the TADC exit, and it's like, it's basically like the like all of the characters in TADC have been trying to get to this point after realizing that the simulation they're in basically is they don't like it. Even though, and this is the thing that I wanted to mention. It's been in my head so long when I've been recording this and talking verbally, but I didn't know where to like place it in. So I guess I'm gonna place it in here because it makes the most sense. Um, and this will have because when this video was made, right? It's before the ending of TADC, where allegedly they might break out of the simulation. And we might see how they look like in their human forms, because they're obviously just digitalized characters in this circus setting. Um, what I wanted to talk about was, and I did mention this to other people within the fandom as well. That was on Discord, but like, um, they like again, fandoms are fandoms, right? Um, I did talk about it before though, and I just found it strange. Like a lot of people, when I talked about it, everybody gave like their own opinion. Like they think it's either this or that. Like it's a this or that kind of question. Like you have two options, and I'm thinking like, is the TADC thing voluntary or involuntary? And it's a big deal which option you pick if it's voluntary or involuntary for that series. Because there's also a line by Zubel which I quoted in that discussion where she's basically like I can't remember right now off the top of my head, but it's like let me see if I can get it. Yeah, so Zubul, which is another character in TADC besides Pomni, who's the main character, um, Zubul was like, I wanted to, and again, this isn't like word for word quote, so you'd have to find the actual quote, and there might be a few words missing or here and there, like, but I wanted to leave my mark somewhere in the world, and like, how is she gonna do it now? But like, when she said that, immediately red flags started going off in my mind, which they obviously should, because when I asked the question of is the circus in TADC a voluntary thing to go into, or is it an involuntary thing? I mean, did they willingly decide to go into the circus, or was it something that was forced upon them? And it may be a mixed answer, or everybody might be voluntary, or everybody might be forced, or involuntary. I am really not sure because it's not given the answer as far as I know. Because that's why I also asked the fandom in the Discord, because maybe somebody had information that I didn't know as a human. Obviously, I might be errors. Um, it's just very strange that because like when she said that I'm like this sounds a bit hypocritical because if you wanted to leave your mark somewhere in the world, for example, like do something like doesn't even have to be something big, but it could be something like changing the world, like just something to help with society, right? Um, I'm just curious, like, why would you come to the circus if, like, what it if she said it as a thing that the circus is a involuntary thing, it would make sense because then she was probably dragged there by her, like, against her will or something to that effect. But if this circus participation thing was a voluntary thing on her behalf, then it doesn't make any sense for her to say that line unless she has like amnesia or something. Because how is she going to say that she wanted to leave her mark somewhere in the real world? Because they're talking about the real world in that context, I'm pretty sure. But they like you understand what I'm trying to say? Like, how are you going to say that when you left the real world to enter this digital circus that does not really have anything that matters in a sense? Like, it doesn't really make sense to me on a voluntary scale for her to say that because that would just be hypocritical. But on an involuntary scale, I can definitely get behind that. But yeah, this is the exit. So yeah, that was a little tangent on TADC. This is the exit that everybody is trying to get to in TADC to get to it and to exit out of the simulation. Um, and TADC has a lot of themes that I enjoy. This is one of them for a couple of reasons, but like in the sense of TADC being imaginative, it definitely is an imaginative work as well. There's a lot of themes in TADC that I like. To go through all of the themes that I are in TADC that I like, it would be very tasking. But at least especially for this video right now. But there are a lot of themes in TADC that I do like. Um, and yeah, like I said, I'm not gonna get into that right now. But it as a series is something that I enjoy, and I it's very rare for me to say that about something that's so mainstream. Like I definitely prefer it compared to Hell of a Boss and slightly Has Been. Has Been is I kind of like a little bit more because I like Charlie, but I don't really like. I think TADC is a little bit like it doesn't. A lot of the stuff in TADC doesn't feel as much forced as a lot of Lucy Pop's things. I don't know if that makes sense to you, but let's just continue. And this is again the what he does, Eddie FRB as a creator. He he maybe I should start calling him Eddie right now. He does this thing where it's like he starts off with this scene, right? Like these sorts of scenes where before the rap battle even begins, there's a form of like a story. And it's this is very cool by the way because basically it's connecting lore that doesn't even have it's like ERB doesn't do this stuff. Which is what surprised me. Like ERB does not do this kind of stuff. They just start right into the rap battle. A lot of them just start right into the rap battle, like other channels as well too. This guy goes the extra mile to have the characters feel like they're the actual characters by having some sort of like especially in this case too, some sort of plot-like arrangement to connect the two in a way that would make sense if they actually met, which is very, very cool. So if, for example, Pomni went outside the exit door, which is what all the TADCs are trying to do, like it feels like something like in Smash they have like Subspace Emissary where they're trying to connect all these characters in a plot in a sort of way. This is like a shorter version of Subspace Emissary designed to fit the 5 minute mark or like 6 minutes. It's actually 6 minutes. Jesus Christ. I didn't expect that to actually be 6 minutes. But anyway, um yeah, this 6 minute mark basically. Um it's designed to be this way that's supposed to connect the characters in a realistic enough way to make sense between the both of them. And you'll see here, when Pomni goes down the stairs, and it starts with the intro as well. It's the presentation, like I've been trying to say, is so peak. Like I can't stress that enough. It's like you pour your heart and your soul into it, and you get a almost divine level quality product. Like I cannot. There's things that I do that definitely you can see there are certain flaws in it. I try to be perfect. Some things are I make might be perfect, but his work, like this video in particular, I would say, I find not a single flaw in this entire presentation. Besides maybe the thing that it might be a little bit over the top. But these are fucking the reason why it might be over the top is because these are clown characters. Like gestures, especially in case of Jevil, like he's meant to be over the top. When you see the world revolve, when you listen to that song and see the presentation of the character, he's like the Sans of Deltarune basically. Sans was already kind of over the top, but especially with those fucking skulls. But like those things just fucking shoot lasers and shit. Jevil is also meant to be over the top, but he's meant to do it in a clownish sort of mischievous way compared to Sans, who is more like a like more presenting on the justice side. But this video is pretty long, so I think I should probably. I don't want to rush. I don't want to rush it. Okay, let's just break it down piece by piece. Okay, there's a lot of things to go through. At this point, I'm not even gonna shorten the video length because, or try to shorten it like by talking less because like I realize that like I realize that this video is gonna be long either way. It doesn't matter. Let me just commit to the YAP analysis and just talk about everything I can about this video, and when it ends, and that'll be it. It sounds like a little bit of a better idea, yeah. I don't know why she's panting when she just went down like a small flight of stairs, but that's just how Pomni is. She's a little bit silly, but that's why she's also a clown. This looked like hearts. If you look at this, I don't know if anybody noticed that. His paw, not really paws, but like his hands here look like hearts. It almost gave me the impression. Like you can use this little thing and it would look like hearts. Like if you just took this one frame, it's kind of like a cool little text. And I like how he's just behind the bars. Like it's like a it reminds me almost like it feels like inspired by like Kuruma from like Naruto. Uh Kurama. I can't remember how that's pronounced. But yeah, that like the nine-tailed fox, right? But I'm not sure if it's actually a Jevil reference from Deltarune. If it is, that's very, very cool. Because how these things connect? How are you connecting the exit door from TADC to Jevil is crazy just by a path. Like the paths leading together between and weaving together between the two series. It's very, very cool. And again, it fits the plots too. It's not like out of context or anything. It's very, very suitable. And I like how he says draw. I like how he says his stuff. A lot of his videos say draw instead of like begin or whatever the other ones use for their videos as well. And again, let me rewind here for a moment. This guy, Eddie, is playing Jevil, and I know I could do certain things in my voice, but this guy is insanely talented because what, like I said, he doesn't sound like that. He doesn't sound like that at all if he's using his regular voice. So if he can also, along with make music and write and direct, also make his voice change that much that he resembles the what would be considered the character of Jevil, then yeah, that is a big set of skills there for a creator, that's for sure. I just rewind it one more time just to be sure because this video has a lot of cuts, like I think it's in 1080p. I hope. I made a lot of cuts in this video after to organize them all. And then the game thing is obviously like a clown thing right there. Classic clown gesture. Um, Tester. What is... This video is gonna have a lot of cuts in it because I was interrupted. I'm gonna remind one more time. This video is gonna have a lot of cuts in it because just is like that, and I'm gonna have to put all of it together when I'm editing it. So it is what it is. Okay, so a game, obviously like general clown shit. Obviously, accountants use numbers in cells, so like spreadsheets. And I think I'm pretty sure that doesn't come from anywhere. I think he's alluding to maybe pop because there was this one episode in TADC where they do discuss what their jobs were before they came to the circus, and I believe they have that form of their memory at least. They may not remember everything, but they have at least some recollection of who they were before. So I'm assuming Pomni is an accountant. Again, I could be wrong. I'm not gonna like say for sure that I'm just on top of all of everything, like everything lore wise, but I'm assuming that's why he said that. But that's so this is such a very creative way to start off, for sure. Okay, the spade stuff might have gone past. That might be just like cards, I imagine. But also, when he says the wallflower thing, um, I think that could be also alluding to flowy reference. I mean, Deltarune takes place somewhat different to Undertale, but at the same time, also not really. Because I mean they are in the same sort of like Toby Fox made both of them, but um I wouldn't say for sure that they're in the same universe. I'm not really sure about that. There's characters like Asriel, which is Rouse reverse. I think it's not reverse, but like I'm not sure if is it reversed. Um, Asriel. It's like an anagram. I think it might be an anagram for yeah. I don't think it's not reversed at all. Um, but when you have it's an anagram. Ralsei is an anagram for Asriel and vice versa. Um, so when he says straight up to her digital roots, well, that digital thing is already a joke there. Um, what's also happening with the wallflower part? I think that could be a pun of Flowey. And Flo is a character that I really, really love. I love fighting the abomination of that guy. And basically, there's times when if you lose it, they fucking crash your game. Like Undertale was a very wild game. I think Deltarune definitely toned it down, um, which is why it may not have been as successful. Which is what you also see this rap battle sort of allude to later on. That Deltarune was not as successful as Undertale was for whatever reasons that would be. Um, so I think the flower thing could be a Floyd reference. It doesn't have to be, but it'd be very cool if it was. So dig ground. Like guys, okay, people might think I'm overanalyzing this entire video. Like, what are you saying, dude? But d- I'm telling you, this Eddie guy, he is his lines are like in all of his when I've watched, you can tell I can watch all of, like not all of his videos, but a majority of his videos I've already watched. The things, the way he writes is way different. Like ERB had some things that are definitely some ERBs are written way better than others for sure, but Eddie, since he's the one writing this most of the time, his stuff, and it will only get better over time too. His stuff is already very peak level writing. Like his stuff is very, it has layers to it. There's layers upon the layers for his writing. So like that's why I'm trying to analyze it right now and talk about it. So dig is like so he's digging up Pomni's entire thing basically, like her stick, like stick, not stick like ST, but SHTICK, um, and he's basically going through all her stuff, which we'll see later on too. Just getting anything to like insult her and diss her in the rap battle, and dig, and it's also like, well, Jevil is a character that when you have this like little overlay thing for the green, like I said, it's gonna be a very deep analysis. When you have this, like he's a character that sort of defies reality. So when you have him do this, it's very in character for him. All of these things are very in character for him. Pomni isn't really like that. She's not really like defying reality and all that. Jevil is just that kind of character that, and you see his catchphrase is like, "I can do anything." So you hear that in this battle as well, um, being used. And he said he will never be out of grounds. Um, so dig and grounds. So he will not. He basically is saying in this part he won't when he digs up Pomni's entire like flaws and all that. He'll never be finished. Essentially, this part might be just a funny little thing. He is a chaos king. His whole thing is chaos. Um, his whole thing is chaos, right? I think, and chaos king bullet clips. I think the bullet clips might be just a funny little rhyme. I'm assuming. I don't think he ever used a gun before. I could be wrong, but I'll never be out of rounds. I don't think it's alluding to the thing where with how they have that episode where they're shooting in TADC just yet, but it could be. I don't know. I'll never be out of rounds, so you'll never finish having enough insults for Pomni, basically. Crowns like royalty. Clip, as in like basically, could be alluding to no clip. Never be out of bounds. Bounds being like a game, which is alluding to again he's kind of like a character that will in a game will just defy the laws of everything because he's that kind of trollish kind of character like a clown. Well, that's kind of self-explanatory there. Okay, so this guy NPCs what a player. This the guy here Gamigu. He kind of came off as like a male crush for Pomni in the TDC, but the interaction between Gamigu and her was very awkward. Um, Honestly, like there were parts where you can tell like it's a crush, but then sometimes it's like not, like it's ambiguous. Like are they friends or are they a crush? So he says here, if I just go back, uh huh. That was very smooth, by the way. Oh yeah, and he dies. Yeah. So that's he's saying, yeah, your crush got fucked, and then he's alluding to see you later, alligator, because obvious reasons. Okay, this is more like alluding to the more recent part where Caine became like a mad god. So essentially, Pomni is like sort of like a um Lucifer or Lilith archetype. I mean, in the sense that they have rebelled against God per se, which is Cain in this case. But I mean, that's kind of all the archetype draws for. Like that's all you kind of draw a comparison to. Like the parallels kind of end there. I guess you could probably get other stuff for that, but it's very loose tangential stuff. More so, it's just that they have both defied sort of God character, and there's a lot of that in video games if you notice a lot. there's a lot of rebellious characters, and I mentioned Persona 5 Maruki before. Persona 5 is one of those. Persona franchise in general might be one of those things where, but Persona 5 in particular, where they do have rebellion against God, and yeah, it's just one of those things that I feel like Pomni sort of connects it because they do have that same theme where it's like there's this mad god, and Caine literally does become a mad god during that episode, and you can like tell. So this is what this is alluding to here, and you'll never be out of clown. So it's basically saying that because it's a digital circus and that happened already, or yeah, I'm assuming that's in the time frame of this little vacuum in the canon. I don't know how to describe it. It's like it's not really canon, but it's like it feels very. It feels it's taken from canon, but of course, none of this is canon. Um, he'll never be out of clown. So if you replay somebody like a save file over and over and over again, they will never. Yeah, she's gonna be stuck there forever. The broken keys define the might just be another accountant joke. Broken keys to find me. I'm not sure if that's a more of a Deltarune thing. Um, they were trying to get out of the simulation. They had to ask Kinger for help with that. I'm not sure if that's something like that. He had to go onto a computer, I think, and type stuff, or like a laptop. I can't remember if it was a laptop or a computer. Now that I'm thinking about it, but that was like the most recent episode as I'm talking about this. Got your headset on, taking your headset off. That is very, very cool wordplay. Um, it's basically saying she has her mind, which is headset, on taking her headset off, which is like, because they are in a simulation, the Digital Circus cast. Um, however that may be, we don't know how the situation is regarding that. We just know for sure that they want out now more than they have before. So the Digital Circus is just a continuation where each episode they start to realize, okay, we want out, we want out, we want out, and then um, until the ending happens, where we don't know what's gonna happen in the ending. So this is what that's alluding to as well. AR rendered UAFK. I don't know what this one is referring to. I'll be honest. Desk job could be referring to again accountant. This is might just be chess wordplay. Pawn label Pomni. She is like a pawn to Caine to everything I could say. She probably is representative of a pawn. So he's basically saying he's the king and she's a pawn in a sense. So he's kind of downgrading her, like just again he's just going at it. His lines, and this is even the start when he reaches this fucking the other verse, it's gonna be insanity. I'm telling you. You already saw. If he wishes vessel to be the Scarlet's big. So he's again when you see the other verse, he's baiting her into wanting to kind of join him. But in a sense, well, you do see later on that that's not really the case. Jevil, what I'm interpreting this battle to be is that in a thematic sense, Jevil is trying to lure her into a trap where she, as soon as she goes over to the other side, he springs on her and she's like, he like goes full like Jevil mode, quote unquote, right? And he's like, um, there's like no, like he has no restraint. Like he's just another kid, in a sense. Like he just thinks, he already said he thinks of her as a pawn and him a king, right? So like if you are if you are having that sort of ego where you're like thinking so highly of yourself, it really is just another Caine because Caine could not see the fault in his programming. Because at the end of the day, Caine was a program and Bubble was also a program with Caine. You're like a little duo. And um, Caine is basically the same as Jevil in this case because Jevil is just trying to goad her into doing all this stuff, like trying to think that they're on the same team, but they really are not. He's gonna just entrap her just like Caine did. That's I think that's the main gist of what he's trying to say. Let's play the game. Like vessel to be discarded, but I don't think he's gonna free her. But he eventually does if you see it in a way. But it's like a bad ending, which is very interesting.
Recorded, let's play a game.
Oh geez, that's really not why I came. I'm sorry, but I've already forgotten your name. Wait, where are we?
Okay, so that's part. Um, it's just basically basic Pomni. Like she's like a I guess a shy clown archetype, but she's not. But she's like she has like a brutal side, which is like she's shy on the surface, but she has a more brutal side, but it's still very corny, very playful. Like I don't know how to describe it, but she's basically like she's a paper tiger until she isn't, if that makes sense. And you see that at the end, obviously, you see that already. Um,
Basement? Were you brought here by Caine? I suppose it's for the best. You make Kaufmo look sane. And you look dressed, I would guess.
and this is it's insane. Gokofmo is another clown from the Digital Circus, I believe. And he was basically saying that, yeah, you make him look sane. I don't find Jevil that insane, but I guess he sort of is compared to, yeah, the other clown from Digital Circus.
For a long snooze from the slippers and the nightcap to the
Self-explanatory, just clothing.
honk shoes. You think all your pantomime men should be in a paradigm? You aren't even part of your creator's grand design. It was Kato time.
Deltarune references that go over my head because I haven't really, yeah. But that's really it's really cool how she's saying like you weren't even part of your creator's design. That's a big rose. Like she's saying like you're kind of irrelevant.
Confused how Spamton never dealt with your
And he
disruption.
can't really come back from that because she's just somebody who's trapped in a simulation, um, the digital circus. He is just a creation of some being, I'd imagine, this Deltarune character that might be forgotten, I'd imagine, is what she's trying to say.
Did he hear court gesture and a Kato time? Confused how Spamton never dealt with your disruptions. Did he hear court gesture and assume it was instruction?
Pretty sure that's one of those innuendos. That's one of those innuendos that the guy warns about, Eddie warns about. So, yeah.
Broke your heart. You were wrong when he was.
I need to go back to that. That's hard to pause. This is hard to pause. Hard shaped objects. Okay.
Sleeps in garbage like you literally ducked it. You're a loose clown sticking to people you later bail on. Stoners who donkeys you pin the tail on.
They're basically saying a loose clown, I'm imagining in this case, is someone who's very like unstable and hard to predict. So she's basically saying like, why would I ever join you if you're like
Garbage like you literally
a
ducked it.
loose clown?
Sticking to people you later bail on. Stoners who donkeys you pin the tail on. Headache, this is crazy. You were
But yeah, that reference goes over my head a little bit. I'll be honest.
it's not anything there.
Oh, come now, won't you come down, come down? You want freedom from your prison? You're in luck now, young clown.
This is so good, bro. I think the Jevil lines are the best, but Pomni has some really good lines. Like my favorite one in the battle is a Pomni line. I said,
Wanna find the exit? It's not anything there.
and this little thing of the cursing is like this is what I'm trying to say. Why this is like it. The CGI is not that different compared to like you can tell the differences between the Digital Circus 3D model and this Pomni, but it's so from a for a fan because I like I said when ERB had videos and people tried to replicate their style with whatever trends were going on back then. It's the same thing now in a sense, but sometimes with other characters too that aren't really trending. But the point I'm trying to make is that when that happens, it's like these. characters, they're just
This is crazy, you are crazy, I don't care.
it's the
I just
level
wanna
of
find the exit.
detail I'm talking about with this guy in particular that puts him above the rest for these rap battle things. And I don't really even. Here's the funny part. I didn't. I guess again. I said I was going to mention a lot of things, but I forgot to mention some things too. Um, Going off of no script. I don't really care about rap. I don't personally. I don't care about rap as a genre. Like a lot of the rap is just blah, blah, blah. Like it's just to me it's nonsense. I care. It's like some like Linkin Park sometimes have like good rap parts. Um, there's like a few that's like rock and rap at the same time. There have been a few rappers I have liked, like Watsky, because I realized Watsky had some good stuff from ERB because he would have acted as characters in some ERB epic rap battles. And um, but basically, I don't really fuck with rap. Like compared to other genres, I really don't fuck with rap. And I feel like I just need to find like I feel like I could, but I just need to find the right people who are rappers that I might actually like. But there's very few of the mainstream ones that I actually care for. I feel like I definitely am a person that prefers poetry to rapping, even though they both have rhyming words. Poems don't actually have to rhyme. That's the funny part. Poetry is not limited to rhyming. You can rhyme with poetry, but you don't have to, like for a poem, if you want to express your meaning in a poem, you don't have to you don't have to force rhyming words because some words just don't rhyme. You can just articulate yourself in a particular way where you can just say that this line is this and that line is that for that stanza. You really don't have to rhyme in poems. For rap, you almost always have to rhyme. That's the point. So there's a bit of difference in poetry and I prefer rapping. Like I said, I found the rap battles back then um, that were trying to copy ERB style cringy because they weren't as big of quality as this. So when I started watching the Springtrap thing, I realized there's a leap. This is an insane leap, obviously from the years of 2015 or whenever I was watching those other ones. Maybe actually even less than 2015, like 2013, 2012. Like there's a leap of quality that I missed just because I was ignorant to the fact that these things existed until like wanting to see William Afton in a rap battle. So yeah.
And it's not in there.
Oh, come now, come now.
So yeah, that details is Caine apparently has an interruption for every single curse is the thing I was alluding to there. Caine has an interruption for every single curse just to keep it like kid friendly of a show with the digital circus. So every time a character like Pomni or anybody else, Zubul, I think Jax, if they curse, they're gonna get
You are crazy, I don't care. I just wanna
censored
find
like
the
that.
exit. It's not in
So that's a
there.
really cool reference. He's saying come down, like relax. Let me reverse that. Not reverse, but play that. Let me get that again one more
This is
time.
crazy,
One more
you are
time.
crazy, I don't care. I just wanna find the exit and it's not in there.
Yeah, basically saying relax. Freedom. He's still saying that he can give her freedom, right? Metamorphosis begins. Uh-huh. Why it's just a simple numbers game. So again, she's apparently an accountant. And he's just saying numbers game again. He's trying to get in her he's constantly trying to get in her head. That's why I'm saying that this guy writes like a fucking he writes really this it should just be rap battles where they're just like doing basic business, but he's doing like very complex like psychological like He's definitely portraying the characters faithfully. That is 100% sure. Like, if you are a person who has a series that this guy likes and then he puts you in the rap battle for the character, I mean, he is going to faithfully represent your series character, most definitely, because, like, he's just that in depth. It's insane.
Not to weird hypnosis?
And I think the weird hypnosis might be Cloud. But of course, she's very cautious because it's Pomni. Shark to Shark. I'm not sure if that's also a thing like Shark Tank, like how accounted sort of like, but not really accounted, but in the money sense. Like the Shark Tank is like investors, right? So I'm not sure if that's a reference to that or if it's something else, Shark to Shark. But Pomni is definitely not a shark, so I don't know what he's trying to say. He's a shark because he's being very predatory right now in a sense. So he's trying to out her, like sort of get inside her head. So I think he's really just playing with her to get her inside.
Maybe if it's go fish. I don't know.
Don't be shy, let's have a lark. Pomni, you may have forgotten, but I'm with you in the dark.
Again, saying he's on her side.
Hello?
I have this little aesthetic after this little aesthetic change and then the music shift. Is so I think that's maybe why people are asking for the instrumental for this. Let's rewind. This is my one of my favorite parts. After this is just like one of my favorite parts, like
Hello?
everywhere. And he says that sort of like sarcastically, sort of like clownish sort of way. It's very nice. Like your beauty is joy in my heart. Like okay, you know what I mean? He's exaggerating basically.
Jevil, what is this? What's going on?
And this is where Jevil's character is definitely displayed on 100%, 200%, 300%, because it's like this is who Jevil is. Again, he's a character who defies reality. He's a character that basically just wants to troll you. Again, he's like the bad side of like the chaotic side of Sans basically. Um, and just as hard as as a boss too, I would imagine. You have path the route you chose to be true, which is definitely more than likely because Undertale has different routes. It's one of those games where it has different routes to finish or whatever. So I would imagine that that is also a reference with regards to Kirby. Tommy is a protagonist, and she's passed a route that she chose to be true, which is being opening the cage in the first place. She didn't have to with bars. Again, chaos is like is one of his catchphrases. You can tell he uses a lot of lines here already. But oh, and I don't know if that's a word the devil actually used, the reciprocity thing, but that is such a cool, that is such cool flow. It doesn't really rhyme, but it's so, bro, like what? Like it's the vocabulary. It's the vocabulary. It's really nice. So it's basically saying she's allegedly become free from by coming into the cage with him basically. But it's a lie, of course. And then he just goes on her like, what the fuck is happening, bro? Child Light could be Undertale, another Undertale reference, or Delta, whatever. Um, Witness your pilot take off in the sky. I am pretty sure this is talking about like referencing um, the TADC pilot, which, yes, it did go off in the sky because it's still relevant today and it's still popular today and has an active fan base. So yeah, it definitely went off in the sky. And I would even say more than Undertale and Deltarune, which is, well, definitely Deltarune, which she does allude to later on. You see, she does reference that. Let's go back a little. Free, free. He can do anything. That's again one of his catchphrases, right? So, and the visuals are so nice. Down came you tumbling, taking my flight, taking his flight of fancy, basically. I'd imagine maybe that's a play on it. Taking my flight, like he just baited her, basically, is what he's trying to say. I would imagine. Be free, he. And again, this is Eddie's voice, bro. He does not sound like this in this video. Bro's, it's like witchcraft, bro. Bro is an actual, like, it doesn't sound a thing. Like, there's some voice actors where you're hearing them and you're like, wait, that does sound a lot like, no matter if they switch characters for a different project, they sound kind of similar. Like, even if they try to modify their voice, his voice does not sound like this. I don't even know the guy personally, but I'm like, his voice in the video where he's talking about the shitty demonetization, the YouTube thing, it does not sound like this at all, brother. I'm not gonna play that video in particular, but you have to hear it for yourself. His voice, again, he's the one doing this. His voice does not sound like this. It's such a great thing. It's very talented. You say you can do anything. You can do. That's basically self-explanatory. Like you can do just fine, just fine. Ragging on, and you kind of get the assumption that Jevil is trying to help her. Some people have said that in the comments. Like it kind of feels like he's trying to assist her, but in a sense that like in the sort of same sense that um the mother bird would push the bird out of the little bird out of the nest to see if they can fly. You know, he's sort of doing like a tough love sort of thing, I would imagine. Just because they're both kind of like clowns or whatever, or he feels maybe some sort of sympathy, but he's still Jevil at the end of the day, so he's still trolling her at the end of the day. Okay, so ragging on Ragged and left her to die. So this is kind of because what happens in TADC is that there's a sort of conflict between Ragatha and Pomni. I know a few Ragathas, unfortunately. Um, just like this goody goody two shoes archetype, right? Um, and there has been conflict between Pomni and Ragatha. They are almost the same archetype, but they are not. Like Pomni definitely has her differences between Ragatha, but they're both kind of leaning towards a good side. But Pomni is like I would like Ragatha has her moments. They're both I would say they're both kind of very close friends, but recently there's been a sort of tension between them. Um, Especially in that episode where she tries to team up with Jax instead. So it's basically saying you abandon your friends, obviously. Visions of Kaufmo, the blindest of eye. Um, I'm assuming I'm not gonna reach for this one, but these are like um the abstraction modes, like I guess the spirits of the TADC. I'm assuming. So when he says vision of Kaufmo, Assuming the ones that got abstracted, maybe. I'm not sure if Kaufmo got abstracted or whatever, but they definitely have some. You can see when she enters the digital circus, there are certain characters that are offed. Like their rooms are inaccessible, basically. That you can't really like, but you can see like you're not the only one who's been in the circus. There's the people who are still in the circus, which is the cast right now, and then there's people who have been in the circus way before you have. So I think this called Kaufmo's name before, and I think he's just referencing that. Um, and she does abstract in the end. You can see when we were watching it earlier. Strange as it may, where does it what? Where does it swirls? Where does it swirls? Okay, and he's rotating the thing there. Truth remains the graphic there. Truth remains hiding inside of these bars. And then okay, that's a good one. That's a good one. You know why? Because they were bars before. Again, there's depth. I'm telling you, it's not something that's just single. It's like there's nuance within nuance here. Truth, as in he thinks he's telling the truth, remains hiding. Hiding is obvious. Inside of these bars, he's rapping, and at the same time, the only reason this intensifies because she decided to come through the bars that he had before. And like, if you go back to the video, before there were bars at the start, yeah, it's like it is multi-layered. I'm telling you. Even ERB had multi-layered stuff, but I find this guy loves his multi-layered stuff. Like it's just he loves his little references for his projects. I think he's definitely might be a passionate creator, which again bugs me why he's dealing with all this YouTube stress, but it is what it is, right? Revolving around you, Jevil. That's his one of his catchphrases. Notice the world is revolving around you. Yeah, that's self-explanatory. In midst of the system, that's sort of like a joke towards because I mean, the circus is a system. Digital circus is a system. It's digital, and in midst of the system, so she's in a system within a system now. She's in another system again. So again, she did not get out of. He goaded her into something that's just basically the same thing she already had, but at the end you do see is a slight difference. Which I don't think he even expected, but I don't know. Shine as a star protagonist, I guess. Roar in the Dead of Night. I guess this is just wordplay. Dead of Night. Wait, night could be like a night, like the world. I'm assuming. I'm not sure. Dead of Night. Roar in the depths of. He goes night and night, so I could be right on that. Roar in the dead of night, roar in the depth of night. I guess I don't know if he's alluding to a character or anything, but depth as in like sorry, depth as in like something old. Hmm. I'm not sure about this one actually. It could be a reference that's just going off of my over my head. Sorry. Now we shall frolic and play without fear. And if you're pausing through all of this, like I am, or whatever, still you're seeing all of these visual. This is why I said this one is his best, in my opinion. There is such depth with everything. Like this must have taken like forever to just whip up everything and then edit it, and then this has to have taken like a very long time. And I'm just sad that it only has this amount of views. I hope it gets more views because it's only been like it has been a good fair amount of days. This is March 20th. Like this is a really good video. This is like the best YouTube video I've seen um on YouTube like for entertainment period. like the amount of depth and everything. Look at this. You see it? He faded. Again, he's playing with reality, and they did the fade effects. And there's even like a swing of his head, like a pendulum. Bro, it's like you could go through this entire video and still find something that you missed in terms of how the animation is and everything. Frolic can play without fear, more clown stuff, I guess. Thought you were dreaming. And we're playing a bit too much, let's just go over with. Thought you were dreaming. You thought you were dreaming. You said it, repeated it to get in her head more, I guess. And soon you'll be sleeping for 100 years. And it's also like, if you say that, dreaming, dreaming, it's like an inception kind of thing. Because again, she was in the circus domain and now she's in his domain. So it's like a multi-layer kind of thing, really. And soon you'll be sleeping for 100 years. I'm not sure if this is a Deltarune reference. It could be. Why specifically 100 years? I'm really not sure. Up, up. Ah, it doesn't even have that in the captions, actually. It's just a matter of you just saying it. The level is just too advanced. Anti-up. This is just wordplay, I guess. Who is Marissa like that's my diamonds, my diamonds. That's card stuff for sure. Diamonds, diamonds. Anti Anti up is also like is that maybe a poker reference? Okay, maybe that could be a stretch. But anti up, like just bring it on basically is what I'm assuming. Like they can interpret that as well. Cold is my wrist at a glance. He's saying like I guess he's comparing that to his rhyme. Like he's just cold. Like he cares, but he doesn't care. Like maybe he doesn't care at all. Who knows? It's very like she said earlier, which is what I talked about before. He's a very loose cannon clown. Like he's loose. He's a loose clown. And you can't predict Jevil. He's one of those archetypes where you like you don't know if to trust him or not. And she already had that with Jack, so it's like another thing where I guess yeah, she's like dealing with this sort of she doesn't know who to trust, which is very relatable, honestly. Digital dance is just is a play on words for digital circus, obviously. Digital he really is just trolling her, honestly. 25, don't get me started. I have no idea what this is alluding to. But you can see his card is the Joker there, and her values are 25 and 25. Well, 25 on the inverse. Why would her card be 25? I'm really not sure. I might have to check like the genius.com for that one, honestly. Like if I really wanted to see um what that was about. Breaking the collision of your every obstacle. So again, he's Jevil, he can do anything, can break collision, whatever. I love this little fray. I love this little fray. This is bro. Y'all have to thank this guy, bro. Y'all have to thank this guy for making a video with both of these fandoms together, bro. Because they're like, they sort of feel, I don't know, like there's a similarity between them. Not just the characters, but like I feel like the worlds too. Not really, but at the same time, I feel like the like obviously if you took another fandom and try to mix them with these two, it would be less of a compatibility, if you know what I mean. Um, when we're together, then anything's possible, and I love this part. Her catchphrase. I don't even remember if that's Poppy's catchphrase. I'll be honest, but if it is, brother, if that is your catchphrase, bro. This is just verbal annihilation. I don't know what to say. Like it's just I can't really like piece things together of how like everything is going fast, which is what he's trying to overwhelm her. And that when I was watching this the first time, I was like, "There's no way Pomni, there's no way Pomni comes back from this. There's absolutely no way Pomni could come back from this." But then I'm gonna when I reach her part, I'm gonna say why I thought over that, and I was like, "Nah, I was wrong. I was wrong." What a cool frame. And then it transitions so well too. It's insanity. And then she's in a cage back here. Let's go back again. Let's just do the lines right here. I said that one already. That's so funny how if that really is her catchphrase. I think it is. I think it is. I think she might have told Jax or something like that. That's so funny, bro. Imagine you're in a rap battle with somebody and they're using your own lines against you to mock you. It is insanity, bro. I mean, it's just a rap battle. It's supposed to be fun and whatever, but like uh, taking a rap battle seriously is really corny as shit. Is what I'm trying to say. But like, oh my god. He locked her behind bars now. I just noticed the role reversal here. He was the one behind the bars, now she is. Come one, come all, more clown shit like actual circus. Come on, like an actual circus, not just the digital circus, an actual circus with like a tent and everything. Come on, come on, be sure to greet. The bedraggled valley of circus. What is any of this? I know circus respawn, obviously. Bedraggled valley. This has to be like a circus reference, like a generic circus reference. Something. What the fuck is a valley? I'd have to Google that shit, bro. Like, again, this is one guy who wrote. I think, right? Unless he had a little bit of help. But what, bro? His lines. Glazing, glazing, glazing. I didn't even notice it. Why did she turn to Kinger? I just paused that and I'm telling you, this video I said this video has nuance in it, bro. It's if you keep watching this and freeze frame everything, that's the only way you're gonna get everything. What the I didn't even know there was I just paused there to just read a line. I didn't know this. And the eye is actually looking back to her. I don't know what this is alluding to, this cage thing with like a dog or whatever, but oh, never mind. It's just how it's. I didn't know. Okay, so it's just how it's going through all the cat. I thought I was like a free stream of specifically King, or that would be crazy. On that chess thing with the king or the king thing, he's saying he's the king. That could be a king reference. You never know. Okay, so oh, okay. He put all of them in the. He's basically put all of them in the cage. He's like saying it's the circus freaks. They are circus freaks. They are. It's a digital circus. And he's saying he put all of them in there. Like Barnum, and Barnum is probably his thing. Once you step in the Barnum, you're cooped up. And she goes back to her saying she's the latest attraction. And this part is really brutal, bro. Because he already said Gummy Goo, or however you say his name, he's done. Now she's saying Jax, which was another quote unquote love interest because there's a lot of people I forgot the ship name for I think it's Funny Bunny, yeah. The ship name for Pomni and Jax is Funny Bunny. As corny as that sounds. I can't make this shit up. But anyway, yeah, the ship name for Pomni and Jax is Funny Bunny. And um there was the episode where they were having like basically like a uh was it paintball? I think it was actual guns, but it looked almost similar to actual guns. They were basically gunning each other down as like a team activity because what happens in the circus is that it's sort of like a little show. I don't know who the show's for, if it's for anybody or themselves, but it's basically this little show that Caine is the organizer, Bubble is his assistant, and Caine is the one who's organizing. Well, you for the team will play this game, that game. It's kind of like Squid Game in a sense. If you know Squid Game and you don't know TADC, basically each episode they're doing a different thing, and some episodes they might actually do multiple different things. Um, so that's a thing as well. Um, but basically, he's saying that she gets no mans. Like I was gonna say bitches, but I mean she's I don't know her sexuality, but at the same time she's mostly tried shooting her shot per se. Like I think Ragged is more of a friend. I know if people ship Ragged and Pomni, but they might try to kill me with saying that. But I think the only time we've seen her taking romantic advances, quote unquote, is at least like how we can interpret it, because a lot of this stuff is sort of like um, sometimes it's blatant, other times it's not. I guess just to keep the shippers happy. But because if you have one ship that's succeeding, other shippers will be like, "Oh my God, why the fuck is this? Why the fuck is this ship succeeding and my ship not?" And they might be mad. So a lot of the stuff remains ambiguous on the romance side. This is TADC is definitely not something like a romance. It's more like I don't even know what to call it, but like it's um it's actiony, but it's also comedic. I like the comedic parts of TADC, but I'm not really sure what genre to call it actually. It's probably a genre that's established of it, but I can't really think of that in my head. I feel like it's a mix of adventure because they are going on adventures all the time. Like I said, Kate organizes that. There's action and there is comedy. Like, and there's a lot of dark humor, which I love. Um, so yeah, he's Jevil saying she gets no mans. Yeah, but sputtered. Now you hold your buddy true colors. Is this one is saying that very recently, which I'm actually not a fan of. Jax has been very nervous, to put it lightly. Like he's been tripping out. Like if you ever seen somebody on a like just tripping out, with or without drugs, like basically they're just like all over the place. And he's trying to hold it in. But his personality before compared to now in the end game of TADC is like night and day. Like so, this is what he's talking about here. And this is again, this is all very fast. I have to pause, like pause. It's they went from rapping at a very moderate pace, as you can tell from before. Thankfully, the music's almost over. They went from a moderate pace to just blasting the entire thing. Like they're just busting up each other. Like it's not even funny. Um, like Jax have pushed all your buttons. Jax and Pomni are like if they were a couple, they'd be a couple that like hate each other but love each other at the same time. I think that's the best couple, honestly. I think that's it has growth on both sides as long as you don't actually hate each other that much. But yeah, like Jax have pushed all their buttons. That's why I'm saying they do push their buttons, but they're not like established as a couple. It's not really a thing that's there. It's just something that's suggested, but it's never really stated, is what I mentioned before too. You're just trapped. This is his last. This is the last lines. You're starting your start from scratch. And she's shivering. All this, the animation, just paranoia, or like just a lot of paranoia for her. Because again, she's in a similar situation with the Caine thing, but she's alone this time. Basically, he's showing her all her friends or the cast with his face on them, So very creepy, like clown symbolism here. Um, and then the voice as well. And then Pomni just pops off on him. That is why I said. That's why when I was first watching this again, I was like maybe like 1 or 2 days ago by now, maybe three. Um, it was like I was like, wait a minute, Pomni can't come back from this. She's very gentle-ish, unless she like shows her other face. But then I remembered you pushed the bear a little too far. Now the bear is gonna swing back at you. That is basically what happened. Like he pushed Pomni to a level, just like how Caine did actually, and Pomni pops off on Caine when they're all popping off on Caine collectively, and then Caine pops off on them back. Um, in that most recent episode, as of recording this actually, when this is why Pomni popped off on the same level, not just because it's a rap battle, that could be a factor too. But at the same time, you push Pomni to a point where she has to clap back. She may not be the type of personality to do it naturally. So when she claps back, it's sort of like a teen Gohan kind of thing. Like she, in a sense, that they're kind of pacifists in a way, but when you push them to a level, just like how Cell pushed Gohan back in the Cell games, she's gonna pop off on you. She's gonna pop off. And she literally does here. Like, she's rapping at least maybe even faster than he is, actually. I'm not sure if that's intentional or if the voice actor for Pomni was just that talented that she just went over the lines quick, quick, quick. But yeah. Okay, so that part is just like she's just saying she wants out of the circus, basically. Crazy and dissociate, same thing. Escaping one way or another is just saying no matter what happens with you and me, I'm still gonna get out of here. Which is a bold claim for sure. She has no proof of that, but she's determined. She's filled with determination. Oh my god, I made a tail reference. Anyway, moving on. Hop off your high horse and then you're on horses. That's the fun part. You think the world is revolving around, and he has the high ground here, but then she's going back and forth. That's the horse is there. You think the world is revolving around again, revolving reference. But in this sense here of the world revolving, she's saying it more of us in like there was the line passed around before, but in this case, she's saying it like you think that you're like the sole star in the solar system. Like you think that everything is you, as in an ego sense, like an egotistical sense, but she's about to tell him that that's not the case. Lie. Again, that's my favorite line. And I didn't even notice that she's pointing to the mind. Okay, interesting. You are not free and you're not a free thinker. That is like a free will kind of thing. Um, Again, well, I still want to know for TADC the ending when that comes out if they were voluntarily, if some of them were, or if all of them were voluntarily pushed into the circus, or if they were involuntary. So she's telling him he's not free as much as she's not free, he's not free. I guess by the confines of reality. So she's basically bringing him back down to earth from his high horse again, as they were saying, which is really, really interesting and cool because again, what I said is that this is like a defiance against God thing because Cain was played off literally as a mad god at the end, and that's what actually caused his demise or his defeat. And in the same light, again, as I said, Jevil tried to do the same thing of, you know, trying to tell her that it's gonna be all right, so like a Cain thing, um, or like like controlling the system. But Pomni's also popping off on Jevil too. That's the thing. That's the funny part. Like that is why I said her archetype might be um, the things that I said before. Like she does not care, and that I'm surprised again, this Eddie guy, I'm surprised he went through this level of detail with these characters. Because he just nailed Pomni, and he's not even the original creator of any of these characters. Like he just know like whoever whoever wrote these things is just on point. Peak. Like again, they're just they nailed the coffin with all of these characters. They know their shit. I love the little transition too. That was such. That is. It's actually most replayed. Oh, the Pomni pop off is the most replayed. That's interesting. Fascinating. Oh, because it's so fast. I never seen such crazy like fast rap before. Actually, it's still comprehensible too. When you say out of your mind if you're out of your mind, so let's break down that one. Out of your mind if you're out of your mind. Again, it's like saying ego, like you're completely bonkers is the first part. If we're out in your mind, like you're completely bonkers if you think that we're just a part of your mind, like your system basically. It's this is a really I've never seen a line like this before. It's really fun wordplay, honestly, and it just passes you by like a fucking like a train when you're watching this the first time. Like you just have to take it in. Like it's crazy. No pun intended. They use the hole to hold them up from the kick. This is a Deltarune character. I can't remember what exactly role he played. I think it's a villain at the start, but I can't remember entirely. So this is gonna be a Deltarune reference that sadly goes over my head. Role playing that you're in paradise. I guess she's just saying that he's LARPing. That's what I can say. Like, but I don't know the specifics as in the Deltarune lore. She's going off of him in Deltarune lore, so this is the part where I kind of like. Big House really always wins. That's just yeah, that's just a you know that reference if you know it. With all your maddening battling house, she's just saying he's just again like a loose clown as she said before. Like she can't really. She thinks he's just yapping basically is what she's trying to say. Shaw used. I know this guy, but I don't remember. Again, Deltarune escapes me. Sham used their magic to cast you aside, so I'm assuming Jevil was cast aside at some point by this guy. I know this guy's a merchant in Deltarune. That's all I can really tell. I remember him, and I remember thinking that Toby made such a cool design with him. Sanity smashed to bits after the gavel hit. Gavels usually relate to judgment like a judge, of course, use gavels, pong pong, like on the fucking table. But like sanity, of course, is I'm not sure if that's I don't think that's is that a person? But if it's not a person, she's or if it's like a mixed, like a double meaning, she might be saying, oh yeah, sanity. Cause I'm not sure if this gavel is a person or anything in Deltarune or whatever. But yeah, sanity is broken, smashed to bits after the gavel hit as a judgment. Mali, and then things break. Again, level of detail I have to give it to him. It's madness. Not even Malleus can help those shattered crystal recombine. That has to be again another Delphin reference that goes in my head. When it comes to you unholy basement dweller, she's calling him a basement dweller. Okay. Sure. Okay. I mean, I've seen this already, but like, I don't know what to say on that. I have to look it up. Angel had better manners. So manners here is a wordplay on manners. I'm not sure if the angel is referring to this creature that ate her in TADC. It could be because you see the. I need to go back to this. You see again. How do you get all this detail, bro? You did this series so well. Caine summons this thing to eat her in like the most recent episode. So in episode 8 of TADC, when Caine is going all mad, mad god moment or whatever, um, he summons this thing to like eat Pomni or whatever. So I'm assuming if she means this is the angel, if that's what they call it in TADC, manners as in like a place. He uses a place here in the captions, but I'm pretty sure it's a wordplay because it's saying even the angel had better manners, as in, and it's a wordplay of manners, as in like you know, uh, don't talk while you're eating. I think she's just saying that. Orbsman is a character that again doesn't really make much sense. It's like it's a TADC character actually, and actually again detail. I didn't even notice the Jevil's hat shows here, so she's comparing him completely to the Orbsman thing. This is when she's going in a pretend to answer. This could be like a thing to when they were to basically like a knockoff McDonald's or whatever, and she pretend to answer could be alluding to that because she's in the you can tell she's in the outfit here. Car has been marked as a proper clown. That's self-explanatory, honestly. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe he did have that. I don't know. Deltarune lore that escapes me, but it's a hard diss, especially at the rate she's going. Going on by a bloody selling wares. So that's probably why. That's probably another thing to the merchant because he just showed him their seam or whatever his name was. Um, probably alluding to that. Sold out by your buddy selling wares. Again, I remember him being a merchant in Deltarune, so I'm pretty sure that's what it's referencing. Good luck sleeping now without your teddy bear. And what I want people to notice is that it's not really that fast, actually, but buddy words. There's a smile that Jevil has right there. If you saw it, you'd have to rewind it. I'll do it one more time. It's hard to pause it. It's pretty quick. I'm not sure if he realizes that she's at the point of no return and she's going to abstract, or maybe I think it's maybe both, but I think he's also laughing. I think he might be just laughing like because clowns do laugh at themselves honestly sometimes like that's just a thing. So maybe he's just laughing like she's right. Like I'm not sure what's going because you don't have any context to that besides he smiled at that point. Before you're just kind of like frowning, as you can see, frowning then smiling. 2018. So this is the part where I was talking before, where Deltarune kind of fell off, like it just did. It I didn't remember it was that far in 2018 that this thing got released. It's crazy, and it really is true because it happened before COVID. I remember now. That's crazy. That is genuinely crazy stuff. Sleeping now without your teddy bear is obviously, again, probably alluding to the same thing. And it's actually it's a line I can actually see Pomni saying. Not gonna lie, all of these lines are things I can actually see the character saying. Been forgotten in 2018. She's drawing a timeline, a small little timeline, 2018, and she draws it from like the right. So she say like 2026. This is you, 2018, and people forgot about your game, bro. When they're dressing up chapter one for Halloween, is that a thing for reference to IRL kids dressing up with these fucking characters? I'm not sure. Or is it just the characters themselves in universe? It could be the latter, actually. Oh, it could be Rousey. It could be yeah. Rousey does look like he dressed up like a fucking like a witch or something. Honestly, I'm not gonna lie. Because you had your lore keeper mantle taken up. Uh, goes over my head. Ram became again goes over my head. He's smiling now though. Maybe he really does realize she's at the point of no return. Eradicate the plug. This is no trapeze. Trapeze is a um, more circus references. This is entrapment. Entrapment is entrapments. Self-explanatory. Lighteners, I'm assuming, is what Chris and the others are. Um, Deltarune, Susie, and the gang. Just to kind of reference that before. Again, I don't remember my Deltarune stuff. Not ashamed to say that. Refractums, the back end where it distracted. This is an obvious simulation or like computer science reference. Back end, um, where a distraction. Um, this is the back end where a distraction. I'm not sure what the distraction part is saying. This is the back end where a distraction. Maybe she's saying that this entire rap battle is a distraction from what's actually going on in the circus. It's possible, as in we're, because there's only two of them in the room right now, so that's it. An abstraction is when basically you die in the circus. People are like, people are saying like, Pomni went off so hard that again he had the most replayed, and that she went off so hard and she fucking died. That she abstracted. That's pretty funny, honestly. It's all pretty funny stuff. But yeah, that's the gist of the video. I try my best to break down every single line. Um, Overall, like extreme attention to detail. Um, if I had a franchise and I wanted like somebody to represent my characters properly, bro, I'd go to this guy ASAP. Like there's as him writing this is he captured the essence of the character so well that I almost feel like it almost feels like if you showed me this and didn't tell me any context, like just the lines or whatever. I would say that the lines are written by the original creators, which they're not. They're not. They're written by this guy, Eddie. And I wouldn't tell you that they're written by somebody who's just a fan. That'd be a very hard thing for me to say. That would just be a lie. I would not be able to tell you that with a straight face. But yeah, that's the gist of the rap battle. There's a lot of attention to detail. You probably freeze frame again a lot of these things, and you may find hidden gems. I think he has a affiliation with a lot of these characters, so he wanted to. Maybe he's even a Deltarune fan. I don't know the guy. So because he did play the Jevil role, um, voice actor. So maybe that's why he popped off with this one so much. I have no idea why this one is popped off compared to the other ones, in my opinion. Again, this one is just, it's like, again, when I watch this and watch it for free, I feel like I'm privileged. Like I don't feel like I should have, I don't feel like I should have, like it felt like a movie, bro, like movie level quality. Um, and the animation, like the attention to detail, once again, is just insane.